What's happening YouTube? How we're all doing today? This is Cheeky Curations here, and now I've got another ranking video for you. This time I'm going to be ranking all the live action Superman films from worst to best. Before we get started, we're not going to be including Batman vs Superman because I don't consider that a Superman film, nor do I consider that a Batman film. I consider that a Justice League film, the unofficial Justice League film, and I will not be including the animated films either. That will be a separate list for another time. All right, let's begin. Start at the bottom of the list is Superman 3. I just thought Superman 3 was very uneventful, very uninteresting, and it was just evil Superman going against Clark Kent. Very boring and underwhelming film. I feel like you could just take it away from cinema history or even Superman history and it wouldn't make a difference. Following on that is Superman 4, Quest for Peace. I know everyone thinks that's the worst Superman film because of Radioactive Man and how it's a bit cringe. Actually, no, Nuclear Man. Sorry, my bad. Nuclear Man. And how cringe it is, but I feel like it was better than Superman 3 because at least more happened, but still wasn't good either. And then following that, probably going to say Superman Returns. I thought Superman Returns wasn't a bad Superman film. Brandon Routh did do a decent job as Superman, and Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor was a good casting choice because Kevin Spacey does play a good villain very well. I've always enjoyed Kevin Spacey's performances when he's been a villain such as The Usual Suspects, Seven, and many more. And having him as Lex Luthor, one of the most iconic villains in pop culture history, was a good idea. The only thing that I think brings Superman Returns down is I felt like the film just dragged a bit too much. But it was still a decent film. I thought Bryan Singer did a good job, and it was an original story of Superman returning back to Earth after being in Krypton for a while and reigniting long lost interest with like Lois Lane and people from Earth. So I did think it was a decent film, just dragged on a bit too long. Following that is Superman 2, the sequel to the first Superman film with Christopher Reeve, but I had General Zod in this one, which I actually thought Superman 2 was quite good. It liked how it was showing Clark Kent's inner conflict of wanting to be normal, but also realizing he needs to be Superman, but kind of comes to understanding he can't have both ways, and that there's going to have to be give and take on both angles, because if he's normal, there won't be anyone to save the world, but if he's just Superman, he will never be Clark Kent and have time for loved ones. So I thought Superman 2 did a good job at addressing that inner conflict within Superman, kind of like how the second Tobey Maguire Spider-Man film did that. Superman 2 did it first, so I put Superman 2 in there. Following that, our runner-up is Man of Steel, the 2013 Superman film that started the DCEU. It was quite a dark Superman film, and I know a lot of people complained because it wasn't the traditional Superman we know, but you know what? I don't always want to see the same thing. Sometimes it's good to change things up, have something different, have something unique and fresh, and Man of Steel did that good with Superman because it really painted Superman in a, should we fear this guy? Instead of like, oh, looking at him through rose-tinted glasses like the Christopher Reeve films did. And Michael Shannon did a very good job as General Zod, making him quite a tragic villain. And I thought it was a good start to the DCEU. Shame other films later on couldn't have followed that quality, but I definitely think Man of Steel was one of the better DCEU films we've had. And then finally, the first Superman, 1978. It was just such a feel-good film. Christopher Reeve did an amazing job as Superman. It was just one of those films that I could watch anytime when I'm happy or sad. It makes you love Superman and also superheroes itself. And I feel like that film was very important because that was the beginning of the superhero film genre that we know today. Like, if there was no 1978 Superman, we probably wouldn't have no Dark Knight trilogy. We probably wouldn't have no MCU. We probably wouldn't have no X-Men. We probably wouldn't have so many superhero IPs we have today, like Invincible, The Boys, and much more. But yeah, back to the film. Christopher Reeve did a great job of portraying Clark Kent as a mild-mannered, a bit more quiet, reserved, but then as Superman, he's this hero that saves the day. He had a very simple plot to follow. Gene Hackman did a good job as Lex Luthor, making him quite charismatic and fun to watch and making you want to root against him. but not to the point he was annoying and unbearable. It's like you enjoy his screen time, which I feel some films make that mistake with their main antagonists. They make you really hate them to the point that you don't want to see them on screen. But I definitely think Superman 1978 did us a favor then. Alright, so that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos. Have a good day. See ya. Bye.